I work as a freelance illustrator.
And I'm heading up a digital R&D department at Nobrow.
He's almost like a sort of science mascot. He's a way of helping children learn through play, through colours and shapes, and he's like a kind of I guess like a 60s cartoon character that is informative and useful and creates a narrative for children to learn about non-fiction. Well, he was given more life basically from a book that I worked with my friend Dominic Walliman, who's a scientist. He's a doctor of physics. The things that we talk about in the space book are based on real life findings and research from scientists ranging from NASA to countries like China and Russia too.
It's neither. It's certainly not a book because, as we said, we're kind of not really interested in just rehashing what the book, because the book exists in its own way, in its own format. It's got lovely double-page spreads that you can look at and pore through quite happily, but we can't do that. We don't want to do that with an app because of all the different screen sizes, and
we don't want to regurgitate the same experience you get from the book. What we want to do is, if it's being adapted to a different media, we want to create a new experience. So that means, you know, lifting certain elements from the books and then working to the strength of the platform or type of media that it's going to be used for.
Basically a sort of a free-form way that you can access all these different modules and bits of information, so you can discover, you can explore, go dig deep into this modular system and learn, and it's kind of an incentivized learning sort of narrative. So the narrative is there, but you kind of string it together, and it kind of puts the kids right at the center of the experience and makes them feel like they have joined the AstroCat space program for themselves.
It's very different, but the key thing is it has the same core values as the book, regardless of it being a different media. Yeah. So obviously, changing it into a new format meant that I had to design new assets and new things that didn't exist in the book that would then exist in the app.
But with regard to the market at the moment in the UK and certainly worldwide, it's very, very tough. It's kind of very difficult everywhere, but there are some runaway successes because we're offering something new that we feel we find that there's like a gap in the market, just as there was a gap in the market for the book. So if there's a gap, then fill it with the best content that you possibly can. This is kind of one of the reasons why we didn't really want to make a straight conversion of the book, but we have been sort of looking at the success of the AstroCat books in themselves and started to sort of think about AstroCat as a sort of a franchise, as a sort of a wider sort of thing.
So I guess the idea of moving it into an app is just kind of broadening the scope of what potentially we can help children learn. Where we can help children learn in different ways, and we have to kind of broaden that in order to see whether it will be successful or not.